Summer was fading fast, and the window for attempting the long and dangerous ocean crossing had already started to close, when on September 6, 1620, an aging 180-ton ship called the Mayflower set out on her own across the North Atlantic on what would prove to be one of the most historic voyages of the millennium.
They weren't the people that you would expect to be founding a new colony. At least half of them were separatists, that is to say, radical Protestants, who were religious exiles, who had been living in Leiden, the Dutch Republic.
Suddenly, these Leideners, who had spent 10 years cultivating their own spiritual, very inward bond, found themselves on a ship sharing their space with strangers.
Undersupplied and overcrowded, and with the strangers the investors had insisted go with them. The Mayflower left Plymouth Harbor, off the south coast of England. William Bradford remembered her finally setting forth under a prosperous wind.
And so they left. But they knew they were pilgrims, and looked not much on these things, but lift up their eyes to the heavens, their dearest country.
If you wanted to go to America, you should try to leave February or March at the latest, so you could get there in the spring and give yourself a full spring and summer to become accustomed to the new world and to do all the things you had to do before the winter set in. In fact, of course, they ended up leaving in September, which was about as bad as it could be.
Early on the morning of Thursday, November 9th, 1620, after more than 2 months at sea, a crew member spied a line of high bluffs. It was the first land they had seen in 65 days. But even before they dropped anchor, long festering tensions between the strangers and the pilgrims broke out into the open. Many of the strangers began to speak openly of splintering off and going their own way once they came ashore.
This day, before we came to harbor, observing some not well affected to unity and concord, it gave some appearance of faction. It was thought good there should be an association and agreement, that we should combine together in one body and submit to such government and governors, as we should by common consent agree to make and choose, and set our hands to this that follows. Thank you. Word for word.
On the morning of November 11th, 1620, the Mayflower Compact was offered up for signature. The vast majority of the men on board put their names to the paper, stating that they agreed to combine themselves together into a civil body politic with the power to enact whatever laws proved necessary to preserve the group. Years later, when William Bradford and others codified the rules of Plymouth Colony in a new book of laws, on the very first page, they described the compact as a solemn and binding combination, whose authority came from the fact that it was based upon the vote of the governed.